Hey everyone, welcome to r/Tales from the Jobsite, where I bring you stories from around the web and listener submissions that show some of the wacky sides of construction, remodeling, and more. I'm Uncle Reddit, and have I got a story for you. I did the work, honest. We just had a house built. A lot of mistakes were made in the process. Broken bricks were used in the front wall of the house, windows were scratched, and then the frames damaged while replacing the glass. We get a bill for the laying of pipes along our very long driveway, pipes that were installed and paid for by us years before. The only thing that needed to happen was for them to be connected to the water mains across the road. The company is threatening us with legal action if we don't pay, as they have fulfilled their part of the project by getting the house completed and livable by the contracted time period. The only thing that needs doing is to turn on the water, gas, and power. It's now gone over the final payment deadline. Company: but you have to pay. We've got a bill here from the contractor for the work. Me: that's funny because I have a receipt right here from when we had the work done years ago. Company: the contractors have said that they laid the water pipes themselves down your whole driveway. Me: I'd like to know how they laid 20 meters of water pipes 3 feet under the driveway without actually digging up the driveway. After a few weeks, they finally send their inspector out. Inspector: I thought I'd let you know that as a courtesy, we're taking the laying of pipes off your bill. Me: as a courtesy? Inspector: yes, for the sake of good customer relations. You don't need to tell anyone else about this either. The next day was finally the day when the power, gas, and water were to be turned on. It was then discovered that the grounding wire for the electricity had been attached to the gas pipe instead of the proper pipe. Oh my God. And when the water meter was installed, they found that it wasn't even connected to the mains. So much for the contractors doing the work in the first place. And yes, we told everyone we knew not to go with this company. Yeah, I've run across a lot of contractors that do shoddy work. Cut corners, do anything to try to make that, profit just a little bit bigger. Listen, I'm all for making profit. I am a capitalist through and through. But when I get paid to do a job, I'm going to do it the way I was paid to do it. Period. If I didn't get enough profit out of it, it's because I didn't price the job right to begin with. Yeah, you're right. I work with two guys who have a compulsion to always be right. Whatever you say, whether logic is with you or not, they're right and you're wrong. We work at height a lot. Coworker: we need some eye bolts to tie the ladder to when we're going on that roof next week. Me: I'll get some at the weekend. Monday rolls by. Me: I got the eye bolts. They didn't have the ones for the plastic plugs, so I got all metal instead. Coworker: oh, they're not big enough. Me: I've read half a page ahead. That's okay. Here, I got the next 2 sizes up as well. Coworker: they're too strong. Me: you're going to be 30 feet in the air, and these eye bolts could save your life if something went wrong and they're too strong? Long pause. Coworker: I already bought some. Yeah, there's a lot of contrary people out there. I put them in the same category as the one-upsmanship guys. If I tell them I smashed my thumb with a hammer, yesterday, the other one will tell me he took his hand off with the sledgehammer. I don't know. I don't know why they think it makes them look important. I talk good. I worked as an apprentice for my father's electrical contracting business in a small town in the rural South while in high school. It doesn't take long to realize that the general contractors who subcontract with us often demand things of electricians with attitudes they never would dream of using with my father. In one particular case, we're experiencing a construction boom in the area, and Dad doesn't have enough electricians to fully man all of our work sites. General contractor: we had to make a change to the work order, and we need the electrical roughed into the outbuilding by Monday when the drywallers come in. Electrician: can't. We're already scheduled on another project this weekend. General contractor: no, you will. The drywallers come first thing Monday morning, and that electric will be roughed in. Electrician: no, we won't. We're already working 7 12-hour days a week. We can't drop everything because you made a work order change. We just don't have the manpower for it. He's absolutely right. I helped make the schedules myself. We've hired everyone in a 50-mile radius with any electrical experience at all, and we're still barely making our obligations. General contractor sneering. That sounds like a personal problem. Me. Actually, it's a personnel problem. General contractor. Me. 2 N's and an E. Personnel. Easy words to confuse. General contractor. Electrician trying not to laugh. Me. It means manpower. We don't have the personnel. Personnel problem. Everyone on the job site tries not to laugh. General contractor quietly turns around and walks away. To this day, I'm not sure if I got away with that because I was the boss's son or because he couldn't think of a reply. Well, OP, considering the contempt he had for the electrician to begin with, you probably didn't get away with it because you were the son. It sounds more to me like he didn't have any witty comebacks and just gave up. I meant to do that. I'm riding my scooter down the street and I come to a construction zone. The road is closed off to one lane and the guy with the stop/slow sign is signaling for my side to stop so the cars going the other direction can go through. I stop, and when I do, the worker holding the sign starts walking towards me. I figure there's either an issue he's going to inform me of or he wants to comment on my bike. Worker. Hey, did you need something? Me. No. Worker. Why'd you stop then? I wordlessly pointed up to the stop sign he was holding in his hand. He looked up at it and just said, "Oh," in a tone that made it sound like he only just realized he had it in his hand. You know, I don't want to bust on those guys too much. I mean, they do an important job. They help keep traffic flowing the way it should be, try to keep the other workers on site safe. In most places in the U.S. anyway, they have to be permitted to do the job to begin with. It probably gets boring and mindless, and after a while you just kind of, the sign's part of your hand. You don't even really think about it, so I guess I could kind of see that. At least he didn't get weird about it. Know your place. I'm a female engineer, and part of my job involves going to the various construction sites for my projects to inspect work and attend meetings. Please note that in my area, white hard hats are worn only by supervisors, inspectors, and engineers. Basically anyone with authority on the site. All other personnel wear other colored hard hats. One day I'm walking up to the site dressed in regular civilian clothing. When I get to the gate, I stop and start rummaging in my bag to get out my construction gear. As I do so, a construction worker in a yellow hat sees me and starts wolf whistling, trying to catch my eye. I don't say anything, but instead pull out my white hat and plop it on my head. His eyes go wide and I hear a quiet, "Oh, shh," as he scrambles out of sight. I spent 4 hours on site, but didn't see him for the rest of my visit. Yeah, wolf whistling kind of went out back in the 80s, honestly. Yeah, that guy was just smart enough to disappear because he didn't want to lose his job, although he wasn't smart enough to not whistle and call out to begin with. The color of incompetence. I'm a draftsman in a construction company. I recently did a project modernizing a school. Since it was a public school, our client was the city's planning department and the person in charge was a civil servant with degrees in architecture and engineering. Right at the start, things got out of hand. After submitting our ground plans, I got a call from the civil servant. She explained to me that she didn't like the colors in the plans. I politely explained to her that the colors were determined by a standard and that there was nothing I could do about it. Submitting plans not according to standard can be a huge hassle, since they can be rejected, and we'd have to start over with the approval process. Nevertheless, she insisted we change the colors, so I told her I'd talk to my boss about it. He told me to propose to her that we change the colors under the condition that they pay the entire price for the planning twice as overhead. He hoped that this would make her back down, since that's a lot of money for essentially 10 minutes of work. The civil servant, however, immediately agreed to it. From there on, it only went downhill. Turns out the architect had planned a server farm in a heritage-protected attic made out of extremely flammable 200-year-old wood. No way we could weld or solder up there without a 24/7 fire watch person. We proposed a solution to the engineering lady, using plastic tubes instead of the steel tubes, which would not only be cheaper but also last longer. The lady in charge immediately declined and said we should hire a fire watch at their cost. As you can imagine, the project soon went over budget and we had to stop working midway through, since there were no funds left. By then we had installed all the tubes and cables, but the actual server farm and cooling units were still missing. 4 years went by like that, and the legal warranty for our work expired. The city soon took note of that and pleaded to the state government for securing more funds. They got barely enough money to finish the project. However, engineering lady had another plan and used the money to extend the warranty for another 4 years. Oh God. For a system not running. Always glad to see my tax dollars well spent. You know, for people who are supposed to be so smart with these kind of degrees, they really are dumb. And some of them, it's not even a matter of being dumb. It's an inflated sense of self-importance. They know better. It's big fish in a little pond. There you go. They get to make decisions, and they're usually not good ones. Altered reality. The customer calls to accept her quote and pay the scheduling deposit. Customer: okay, so I'm going to pay $300 deposit today and pay the rest when the guys get here. I need you here September 8th, in 3 days. Me: I'm sorry, that won't work. We're currently booking the end of October and we require a 50% non-refundable deposit up to $2,500. Now, in order to hold your place in the schedule. Your entire job will cost about $14,000, so that means we need the $2,500 now. Customer: I don't want to pay that much now, and I can't wait until the end of October. I'll pay $500 now so you can hold my spot, and I'll let you come September 15th. Then I'll call around and see if I can get someone out here sooner than that if I can. I'll get the money refunded back to pay them instead of you. Me: well, you're welcome to call around if you like, but I will need the $2,500 now if you'd like your spot at the end of October held, and as it says in your contract, that amount is non-refundable. Customer: well, that policy is illegal. You can't keep my deposit if I can find someone else to do it first. You probably lose a lot of money that way. Me: we do lose some jobs because people need us to come sooner than we're able. That is why all deposits are non-refundable. If we lose another job because the end of October is booked with your job and then you cancel, we can use your deposit to make payroll, keep our employees so we are able to do the rest of the jobs we have scheduled, and cover overhead even though we have nothing booked and have lost other potential jobs for it. We usually book out 2 to 8 weeks in advance at all times of the year, so I don't think we're losing a lot of customers over this. It's also not illegal and clearly laid out in your contract. Customer: fine, I'll just pay on credit card today. At least that way I can cancel the charge if I find someone else who can do it sooner. Me: and you just said the magic words. Now we require payment by certified check or bank draft for the whole amount before we'll put you in the schedule. Whenever you drop that off at the office, I can book you in at that time. For every day you wait, our lead time gets 2 or 3 days longer until after Christmas, when our lead times start to drop. I'll send you an email confirming the new terms of your contract. Customer: you can't do that. It's illegal to charge for goods before the customer gets them. You can't do this. Deposits are always refundable. It's the law. You aren't allowed to do this. Me: you should go explain those laws to coffee shop and every other hotel, ma'am. You have a nice day now. It's amazing. People really do think the customer is always right. They want to tie up your time, get you scheduled, and then want to jerk you around and take their money back if they find somebody sooner. The whole idea is to get you on the schedule, get you locked into a date. I really can't stand entitled people. What's yours is mine. My dad owns a small business for tinsmithing. We recently hired a new employee. For this story, let's say my dad's initials are MK. Dad: hey, didn't I give you my knife today on site? New hire: yeah, I gave it back to you right afterwards. Dad: are you sure? Because I can't find it anywhere. New hire: well, I don't know what to say to you. Maybe you lost it somewhere? A few days go by. My dad sees new hire working with a knife that looks exactly like his. He lets him turn it around, and sure enough, there are the initials MK written in permanent marker on the clip. New hire: what do you mean? That's mine. I bought it a few weeks ago. Dad: well, then why is there written MK on your knife? New hire: it stands for my knife. My dad did let him keep the knife since it was a cheap one and it may have been an honest mistake, and he simply was ashamed to admit that he took it. However, new hire was let go shortly afterwards, still in his probation period when money went missing from the locker room. Okay, I know this is going to sound petty, but stick with me for a minute. I would have let that guy go immediately, right after I snatched my knife out of his hand. There's two problems here. One, it's theft. Straight up, it's theft. Two, you lied to me and said that you gave it back when you knew you didn't. Three, you lied to me a second time and made it sound like you marked the knife with MK to say my knife. Dumbass. No tolerance for liars and thieves. Ever. Rules for thee. I'm a lorry driver and drive a tipper trailer for a living. I'm at a job site that is more or less across the street from a kindergarten. The site is an elevated lot with walls separating it and the street. A digger, clearly visible from anywhere on the street, is on the lot loading rocks on a trailer standing on the street no more than a meter from said wall. While we have no guards, there are signs in both directions telling pedestrians to go to the other side of the street. I'm standing behind the lorry being loaded, talking to my colleague who is driving it. He has a passenger who has decided to stay in it. While we're talking, we suddenly see a woman with a kid in each hand hurriedly emerge from between the trailer and the wall and then cross the street toward the school, while the two of us stand there mouth agape, too stunned to say anything. We go to the front to see if the sign's still there, which it is, and we talk to my colleague's astonished passenger who tells us he told the woman repeatedly that she could not walk there, but she ignored him. One of her little girls, however, did react, stopped and told her mother they shouldn't walk there, but the mother grabbed her arm and dragged her along. This was a few years ago, and I have since stopped being surprised at the sheer stupidity of people, but really, did she really need someone to tell her you do not walk between a digger and the lorry it's loading? Yep, more entitlement. Oh, the rules don't apply to me. I'll only be a minute. Screwing with the new guy. This story was told to me a long time ago by my grandfather. He's working on site with a new guy who's put in charge of moving materials with the heavy equipment. New guy has been in one spot for a while, moving materials from left to right, always doing a full 360-degree turn. The boss notices this, then after a while he turns to my grandfather. Boss, hey, watch this. Runs out to the new guy. Hey, new guy, what are you doing? New guy, only what you told me to, sir. Boss, no, that machine you're sitting in. Have you been making full turns to move this stuff the whole time? New guy, yes. Boss, what? Don't you realize that operates on a corkscrew? Turn it the way you've been turning it enough and you'll twist it right off, effectively destroying it. New guy, nervously. But nobody told me the... Boss, how many times have you spun this thing? New guy, I don't know, maybe 30? Boss, holy sh! You're right near the limit. You'd better sit here and start spinning the opposite direction until it stops turning at the bottom right now. New guy, almost panicking. Yes, sir, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. The boss walks back to my grandfather. Grandfather, please don't tell me that you, the boss, think it operates on a corkscrew. The boss looks at the new guy just spinning the equipment again and again and breaks down laughing. Grandfather, you're such an ass. Electrifying. I'm a construction inspector. While working on a renovation of a building lit by dim, temporary lighting, I keep seeing flashes of light in another part of the building. Eventually, a photographer comes in, taking progress photos. Me, jokingly, hey, cut that out. Those flashes are disconcerting. Photographer, smiling back. Yeah, the electricians hate me. Yeah, I could see where the electricians would start getting weirded out by the flashes of light, thinking something's arcing somewhere. It is funny, though. Hey guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you've enjoyed this content, would you do me a favor? Would you consider giving this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe click that little bell icon so you don't miss the fat guy with the beard telling you stories. See ya!